Hello everyone, let's get some energy in the room. Welcome to Sydney. Woo! And welcome especially to all our international guests. We have a really, really large number of international guests at this conference and it's wonderful. And I want to just talk to you for 1 second. International guests, how many of you have seen a cockatoo since you've been here? Well done. That's a very good number. Okay. How many of you have seen a koala? Not too many. There are koalas in your future, I know. How many of you have seen a kangaroo since you've been here? Very good. It's all the same hands though. You guys, are you on some kind of a safari or something? Funnel web spider. So all those documentaries they've been showing you in Europe about how poisonous the native flora and fauna is here, they're wrong. How about, how many of you have met an Australian who has actually said g'day? Oh, I don't believe you. They don't do that. All right, now for the rarest and most elusive of creatures. How many of you yesterday saw a woman on this stage? Or pretty much anyone who isn't just a standard issue bloke. Let's talk about what happened yesterday at the Parade of Patriarchs, as it became known in Twitter. Seriously, people, what is going on in this field? I took the theme of this year's conference, Global Digital Humanities, to be a celebration of diversity, not the universalisation of one perspective. I took the thought of that to my speech today, and so what I want to do today is just simply address the blokes in the room for a minute. So blokes, I appreciate that what I'm going to say is going to be very difficult for you because there's no one here standing next to me, there's no man to mansplain me, so I'm going to keep it really simple and very clear. All right, you ready? Firstly, don't take this personally, this is a systemic problem in DH. It's systemic and it's pervasive. Imagine for a moment what it's like for the rest of us attending a DH conference. When was the last time the conference air conditioning didn't feel right to you? When was the last time you had to queue to use a toilet? When was the last time you thought twice about what to wear on stage so that you could use the lapel mic? Why are they even called lapel mics? When was the last time you saw 7 consecutive women get up at a DH conference and speak about anything other than gender? When? Any takers? No, because it didn't happen. It hasn't happened. You've made a world designed around ensuring your own personal comfort, but it's not comfortable for many, many other people. What do we do? Well, firstly, we can turn the air conditioning down. I'm over it. I'm over sitting in the seats freezing. Seriously, I'm calling it. It's time for you guys to sweat and have a sense of what it's like for us. This is not about issuing another policy advisory for inclusion. This is not about developing a new checklist to mitigate your biases. This is definitely not about inviting a token female up on stage to join you. This actually needs to be about your plans to exit the stage. This is not about learning how to do it better next time. This is about leaving before there's a next time. This is not about approximating equity where 20% or 30% or 40% or even 50% is good enough. This is about letting other people in by letting go of your privileged positions. Do you know how quotas make us feel? They make us feel like we're only here because you have quotas, not because we're great at what we do. The problem isn't how many of us there aren't. The problem is how many of you occupy the positions that get to speak. We aren't the problem, you are. And I want to be really, really clear. Even 50% representation, or 51% if we want to be statistically accurate going forward, isn't even close to equity. Given the number of years that women have existed and continue to exist in this field as a minority, The closest we can get to equity would be for men to leave the stage proportionally for an equivalent number of years. So I want 80% women and 20% blokes for 30 years, and then we'll have equity. So, in reality, I'm actually not that agitated by that definition of equity. Let's face it, the last 30 years have been pretty horrible for most of us, and I'm not an especially vindictive person. So I wouldn't impose the last 30 years on someone else, which is why I ask you to stop imposing it on us now. So here's some practical tips for how you, blokes, can leave DH in a better place than you found it. 1, if we're going to get quantitative, let's get quantitative and number your days, and preferably publicly. 2, find someone who doesn't look and sound like you and mentor them and encourage them and invite them into your role. 3, have a clear, purposeful succession plan and enact it. And finally, above all, be more than binary. Do this because you embrace diversity in all its complexity, not because you have checklists or policies, but because you recognise that the real story of DH is more heterogeneous and more complex and more vibrant than you have allowed it to be to date. Was I clear?